The night was supposed to belong to football. Instead, it belonged to chaos. Under the blinding lights of Los Angeles, Lionel Messi, the man who conquered Europe, lifted the World Cup, and redefined greatness, walked off the pitch not as a magician, but as a volcano moments from eruption. After Inter Miami CF were humiliated 3-0 by Los Angeles FC, something shifted. The calm genius, the quiet assassin, gone. In his place, fire. Cameras caught it all. Messi, jaw tight, eyes blazing, words flying. The tunnel swallowed him, but not before the world noticed. Within minutes, social media detonated. Had he confronted the referees? Did he cross into forbidden territory? Had the greatest player of his generation just stepped over the line? And then came the whispers. Suspension, disciplinary review, league sanctions. The possibility alone was enough to freeze Major League Soccer in its tracks. Imagine it, MLS without Messi, stadiums silenced, ticket sales trembling, broadcasters sweating, the face of the league watching from the stands. For a few electric hours, it felt possible, real, dangerous. Pundits sharpened their takes, critics circled, supporters defended their hero with warrior-like loyalty. Was it passion? Was it disrespect? Or was it simply the unbearable weight of defeat on a competitor who has never tolerated mediocrity? Because here's the truth, Messi doesn't lose quietly. He doesn't shrug, he doesn't smile, he burns. And that fire, the same fire that carried Argentina to glory, may have flared a little too bright. But just as the storm reached its peak, the twist arrived. After reviewing the footage, MLS officials determined that no rules had been broken, no restricted areas violated, no official complaint filed. The thunder dissolved into smoke. No suspension, no ban, no punishment. Messi walks free. Yet something lingers, a reminder that even legends are human, that even icons feel rage, that the greatest of all time is still, at his core, a competitor who refuses to accept defeat without emotion. The league breathes again. Inter Miami regroups, and Messi, he smiles. Because sometimes the most dangerous version of Lionel Messi is the one who feels wronged. And the next match just became must-watch television.
If the unthinkable happened, if Lionel Messi were suspended, it wouldn't just be a roster adjustment. It would be an earthquake. Because Inter Miami CF without Messi isn't simply a team missing its captain, it's a kingdom without its crown. The tactical impact would be immediate and brutal. Messi isn't just a goal scorer, he is the system, the rhythm, the pulse. Every attacking movement flows through him like electricity through a circuit. Take him out, and suddenly the passes slow down, the spaces close faster, the magic feels mortal. Defenses wouldn't panic anymore. They wouldn't collapse inward every time he drifts between the lines. Opponents would step higher, press harder, dare Miami to beat them without their architect. And psychologically, even heavier. Messi's presence alone changes atmospheres. Teammates play braver when he's on the pitch. They attempt passes they wouldn't dare try. They make runs because they believe, truly believe, the ball will arrive. Remove him, and doubt creeps in. The locker room energy shifts. The burden falls on others, on veterans, on rising stars, to fill a void that cannot truly be filled. Leadership becomes louder, but less effortless. Confidence must be manufactured instead of inherited. Then there's the spectacle. Major League Soccer has built an era around Messi's presence. Stadiums sell out when Miami visits. Cameras follow every touch. Kids wear pink because of him. A suspension wouldn't just affect Miami's tactics, it would ripple across the league. Ticket resale prices would drop overnight.
Broadcasters would quietly adjust their tone. Opposing teams that once circled Messi night on their calendars would feel something different: opportunity. And here's the most dangerous part. Inter Miami's entire identity since Messi's arrival has been transformation, from struggling franchise to global attraction, from MLS underdog to international headline. A suspension would test whether that transformation was structural or spiritual. Can Miami win without him? Can they control matches? Can they intimidate? Or was the aura always tied to the number 10? Yet within every crisis lies a storyline. Sometimes teams discover themselves in absence. Sometimes adversity forges depth. Sometimes when the king is away, the kingdom learns to fight. But make no mistake, if Lionel Messi were suspended, it wouldn't be a quiet chapter. It would be a trial by fire. For Inter Miami, for MLS, for everyone who has grown accustomed to the idea that as long as Messi is on the field, anything is possible.
If the suspension actually happened, the damage wouldn't stop at tactics or headlines. It could detonate inside the locker room. Because when Lionel Messi is absent under normal circumstances, it's manageable. An injury, rotation, rest. But a suspension, that's different. That carries blame, frustration, tension. Inside Inter Miami CF, the atmosphere could turn volatile almost overnight. This isn't just a squad, it's a team built around a gravitational force. Messi isn't only the captain, he's the emotional compass. When he's calm, the room is calm. When he burns, everyone feels the heat. Now imagine the narrative outside. Messi let the team down. The star lost control. Miami pays the price. Even if no one says it publicly, pressure seeps into conversations. Some players may defend him fiercely, loyalty to the legend. Others may feel the weight of having to answer for something they didn't cause. And pressure divides rooms. Veterans might try to steady the ship. Younger players might feel overwhelmed. Leaders may clash over how to respond. Because when a team is constructed around one central figure, his absence doesn't create silence, it creates uncertainty. Training sessions would feel different, more intense, more edgy. Every mistake magnified, every loss questioned. If results dip, frustration builds fast, and frustration in a locker room is combustible. Add to that the external noise, fans debating, pundits speculating, cameras hunting for signs of cracks, and suddenly the internal chemistry is under a microscope. And here's the real danger. If Miami struggles without Messi, doubts could spread. Was the project too dependent? Is there enough character beyond the superstar? Who steps up now? Moments like that can forge unity or fracture it. The locker room could rally behind their captain, using the suspension as fuel. We fight for him. That kind of siege mentality can be powerful. But if egos collide, if results falter, if blame quietly circulates, it doesn't just simmer, it explodes. Because when you build a dynasty around brilliance, the absence of that brilliance doesn't create calm. It creates a storm, waiting for a spark. And then comes the most explosive theory of all. What if this isn't just about emotion? What if it's strategy? What if a suspension, controversy, tension, chaos is part of something much bigger for Lionel Messi? Because in football, nothing fuels speculation like unfinished love stories. And Messi has one that refuses to die: FC Barcelona. Imagine it. Tension rises at Inter Miami CF. The locker room grows unstable. The media pressure intensifies. Results wobble. The narrative shifts from Messi saves MLS to Messi surrounded by turmoil. Suddenly, the idea of a fresh start doesn't feel so impossible.
Could controversy create leverage? Could instability open contractual conversations? Could chaos accelerate an exit? For years, Barcelona has been more than a club to Messi. It's been home, legacy, identity. The Camp Nou isn't just a stadium, it's the stage where he became immortal. And despite his move to the United States, the emotional cord was never fully cut. So whispers begin. What if frustration in Miami isn't accidental? What if discontent becomes visible? What if pressure mounts to a point where both sides quietly agree it's time? In modern football, exits rarely happen in silence. They're prepared, positioned, narratively shaped. A suspension could be painted as a crack in the project, a symbol that the fairy tale in MLS has limits. And from the shadows, Barcelona's name would echo louder and louder. A romantic return, a final dance in Europe, one last chapter where it all began. Of course, there's no proof, no confirmation, only smoke. But in football, smoke is enough to start a wildfire. Because if Messi ever decided he wanted out, the world wouldn't see it coming directly. It would unfold in signals, in tension, in moments of visible discomfort. And a suspension, controversial, dramatic, destabilizing, would be the kind of spark that makes everyone ask the forbidden question. Is this the beginning of the end in Miami and the beginning of one final return to Barcelona?